So let's go, first game. Straight into it. Oh, lag? What is the lag? Sure, everything's alright. I think everything's alright, right? Good to be live again, brother. Good to be live again. Let me hit this voice channel. There we go. So, full grind mode. Let's go. I need to hit the grind champion, brother. It can't be impossible, right? I've been playing this game since 2016, brother. 1 year after release. I'm an actual OG. I gotta hit that grand champion. It can't be it. Let me see real quick. Everything alright. Gotta minimize this. Make this. Do this. Nah, perfect. Let's go. Let's crack straight into it. First game of the day. Time to warm up. Oh my god, that bump was good. Holy shit. Let's go, mate. He's gonna see it. Look at that. Ah, beautiful. I see a bit of boost here. Okay. I need somebody to go for that. Oh my god, I thought that was in. Good job. Haha. Come on, brother. Come on, brother. So, last time we played this, first thing was a loss. This time it's gonna be a W. We ended up 10-8 last time, so in the positive. I'll try to do the same this time. Oh, beautiful. Looking good. Let me see real quick. Add my Steam. Mix no. Oh, good job. Nah. Ah, you play against me. Ah, okay. Who are you in game? We're not really chasing, mate. Look in. They just played very well there. I first read play against me. Well, I'm gonna fuck you up, brother. Let's see. 10 seconds. Imagine that goes in. Yeah, baby. Oh. Oh shit. Mix no, let me win, please. I wanna have my first game as a win, okay? Come on, let's make a deal. Let's make a deal, brother. Come on. Oh no, that's rebad. This is rebad. Alright, I good. We got this. Oh my god. I can see exotics a tryhard. Oh, rip. GG's, mate. GG's, unlucky there. Alright. First, you're so bad. Thank you, mate. First game is a fucking W, mate. It's actually good. No. GG's, mate. Toxic fuck. Jeez, though. Really unlucky ending there for the enemy team. What the hell, bro? Yo, but what is this, mate? Tim, brother! Wach auf! Germany. Wach auf, bro! Come on. Yeah, bro. I don't really see that, but sure. GG's, mate. Could have won if I was a grand champion. Bro, that's actually savable, brother. Sorry, mate. That's actually savable, though. It's savable. Come on, you got this. Meow. Nice. Nine! Unlucky. Come on. Jay, are you there? That's in. Oh my god, what happened there? There you go. Let's go. Why is he rotating? There was a goal there. Jeez. I think I'll do 20 games again today, just like last stream, and see where we end up. So last time we were at 10-8 at the end, the 2 wins. It's really hard to hit Grand Champion. My peak is Champion 2. And I pretty much think this is basically Champion, but everybody got better. Nice, it's in. Come on, buddy. We can do it. What is this? Wait, what? That's new. Nah, I keep my name in the tab. I need people to join my Twitch stream. I need viewers. One more. One more. Go for it or go back, bro. Pass. No boost, bro. Good pass, mate. Oh, man. I don't know what. I don't like my team. Nice. Let's fucking go. tripod RL with the goal. Go for it. Oh my god. Man. Alright, we're getting 2 losses, but now we win 2 times again. It's every day the same thing. You win once, you lose twice, you win 3 times. It's 50-50. Come on, let's go. Dude, why is this game so fun? Like, if you think about it, it's so repetitive. It's nothing special, but it's so fun. I'm playing it since 2016. Pretty much since release. Grand Champion, I wonder how you hit that rank. Oh. Holy shit. Bro, we are being pressured. Alright, we're back. We're back on the field. We are back on the field. Bro, don't FF here, brother. Trash team. Don't FF, brother. Lock it. Nice. Okay. Bro, this is exactly what I'm telling you guys. Imagine I FF there. I'm not gonna listen to FFs. They fucking go. 2-2. That easy. And Division 4. Holy shit. I need to be back at champion. I need to be back at champion rank. Come on. Get me out of here. Nine. Okay, go for it. I can't do shit here. I'm gonna take the boost. The booster. Alright. Nice. One more. Nice. Alright, sure, I have no fucking idea what's happening here. Why is he so slow? Why is he so slow? You don't anticipate. Don't anticipate, brother. Take it. If you see teammate at ball, you take it. When you're not sure if he's gonna take it or not. Just take it. Better take it than leave it. There's no voice comms here. Gotta remember that. Woohoo! Uh, maybe one more? No? Up, up. Jeez. Later we're going to the forest. Oh, bro, I want to play it right now, actually. Super cool game. We finally got into it. It took me a few months to get into this game because it's so slow. But once we got the... Where did it kick off? I think it kicked off when we visited the one cave. Where we got the... was it Modern Bow? Modern Bow or something like that. That's where it all kicked off. We basically got a roadmap right now in the game. And it's really, really good to have. Because the feeling of being lost is... I mean, it's normal in survival games, but the forest is a bit different there. It's kind of bothering. All right. If he takes it, bro, it's gonna be legendary. Well. Oops. No booze. Nice. Boost, brother. uh. Why am I fishy dying inside? Because of this. Well, it happens, right? It happens, but I'm still dying inside because I don't belong here. Hello, Danas. Ah, they have good defense there. They have good defense. I'm assuming they're using voice comms. That's good players. Good team chemistry from the enemy team right there. That's what you wanna see in this rank. What's the standing right now? 2-3. Oh shit, alright. It's gonna be 2-4. It's about to be 2-4. But bro, we got about 50 games left. So, I said we're gonna end on a positive note. Because, bro, I gotta grind. Grand Champion is really close. It's actually really close. I'm not on peak right now. I can feel it. Especially since the 140 FPS, they don't feel like 140 FPS. It's really weird. I'm gonna close Discord after this to try something. It feels like 30 or 60 FPS. Well, okay, 60, sure. And I'm not making this shit up. Oh! But now I want to try something after this. I want to try closing Discord and see if the game feels normal. Alright, GG's, mate. Undepressive. Nah. Well, I'm glad this game is fun, because if this game sucked, if I did not enjoy it, I would have Alpha right now. If this was something else, I would have Alpha and just quit it, do something else. But since this is kind of my favorite game, oh my god, 700,000 players on it. This is so crazy. I wanted to do something. I forgot. Alright, chat, let me prove you wrong. 60 FPS playable. 60 FPS playable. Completely playable. Just gotta look in. Imagine hit that wall there. Discord. Let me try something. No, all good. I'm just trying to pressure a bit. I mean, I'm trying to play fast here. Very dangerous to that should happen. One more? Oof. Zanas, how are you doing, mate? What are you doing? What are you doing, bro? Oh, 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 yeah. Boom. Ooh, alright, alrighty. That's how fast it can go. I'm all alone here. Last man standing on the lobby. In the lobby. I wonder, is this hidden is this MMR match? Like, this is ranked and this is like the hidden MMR or what? And this game just decided to show it. I wish League of Legends would show this. So I'm at 1043. Boah, I'm assuming Grand Champion is around... I get plus 9. Maybe something like 1,100, 1,200, 1,400, 1,500, something like that. Oh yeah, I want to try something now. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna go into free play here. And apparently I have 140 FPS. This does... Oh wait, free play kind of feels like it though, yeah? Let me change it to 60 FPS. I wanna see something. Oh yeah. Oh, bro, and I used to play at 60 FPS. Once you go over it, you cannot never go back. Bro, Laios is playing at this frame rate. That's so crazy, bro. Nah, I'm going back. Yeah, let's try 120. Nah, let's try 144. Yes. Yeah. Playing some Dota, nice, bro. Nice, nice. Good shit. That's like your go-to game, no? Fucking Noida, brother. Wait, do we have a date for Valheim, Danas? Like 1.0? No, right? Yeah? No, I'm not talking romantic date. I'm talking date. Like... Since when do we have a date? We don't have one. Okay, which one? Sorry, mate. Can somebody bump him? Nice. Yeah, brother, we don't have the same humor on us. Let me check. Valheim. 9-9. Bro, 9-9 is crazy, brother. We're going for the shit. I told Billy he can invite anyone he wants. I literally don't care to be fair. Billy's guys are usually chill. Like Willy, for example. I might actually ask Willy myself. I want to have a 10 squad. I just told him he can invite anyone he wants. Orange. 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 Wait, what is that? What is that root word that I learned in Rocket League that I like using? Fuck, what was it again? Like, it wasn't root, it was kind of troll. But what was it? Ah. What was it, bro? Some Rocket League dude said it in game chat. I was like, what the fuck, I have to use this. Ah, what was it? It was actually cool. It was like really funny way of being toxic. GG's. Bum bum ba-dum bum bum ba-dum bum 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 ba-dum bum. Okay, so he's 1081 and champion. I'm Division 4. Right, 1080. Come on. Today we hit champion 1. Road to esports. That was bad. We have a YouTuber in our team. Promising. He knows how to do crazy shit. Yeah, this is really promising, bro. Oh no. LOL. I did not say the last letter. Only said LOL. LOL. I have an actual emote for that. Ah, bro. Crazy. Bro. Nice pass. Pass into pass. This is something I noticed in Diamond. Compared to Champion 2 at least. Players, kind of doing solo shit. Not, I rarely get like genuine passes. Like, that's a really simple way to do a pass. Just fucking go crazy against it. I'm showing you right now. Boom. Well, not like this, but something similar. I noticed there's not many passes in this rank. And the second thing I noticed is a few double commits. Double committing is really, really rare in Champ 2. I think Champ 1 is still kind of noobish, but Champ 2 is where shit gets real. Thank you, mate. Ooh. One more. I'm going for it. I'm going for it. I'm going for it. Ah. Needs help here. Nice. Is that in? Yeah, maybe one more, yeah? Ah. Nice. Galatasaray with the goal. Galatasaray. Which league are they playing? Premier League? Fucking go, bro. No, I need help! Oh, what a save there. I don't think I have it. I can bump him some, kinda. GG's, brother. Good team. I like this team. Angels. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. Angels. Da 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 da. Na 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 na. Na 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 na. Na 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 na. Follow da, bro. Bin live. Nee, noch keine Anfrage bekommen per E-Mail. Mir geht's gut, Bro. We went from 1-2 into, what was it? 3-1? 1-3. And now we are at, what are we at? 5-4. Crazy comebacks. The comeback is real, brother. You just gotta log in. You have to ignore 4 fighters, and you gotta log in. A 0-3 is winnable. 0-4 is kinda tough, but 0-3 easy winnable if you have 1+ minute. Gotta keep locked in. Stay locked in. Brother, you gotta start Rocket League, Danas. Danas K. I dubstep. Brother, I dubstep, you gotta bring that name back. That was fucking gamer tag. Brother put himself into EFD. Come on. Oh my god. I had my OBS on window preview the whole time in the background. At fucking 2K monitor. Now I know where the FPS went. Sorry, Bob. You're sweet, bro. Don't be so sweet to me. Literally, don't be so sweet. Jay, if you can hear me, well, actually, no, I'm not gonna leak anything here. I'm gonna text you back in a minute. Thanos, be my Twitch moderator. $1 our wage. No, actually, you get my ad money from after the stream, which is like 3 cents. 3 cents to 20 cents is ranges from that. BT6 streams generally 30 cents. Anything else 5 cents. Thanks, mate. No. Okay, nice shot there. Let's go. Alright, you go push the ball. Push the ball. Whoa. Whoop. You're a really good moderator then. Wait, Randy, you're a moderator in Taylor's? Oh, I'm making this up. There you go. I love balls like this. Thanks, mate. Nah, I don't need any moderator, bro. Well, I keep in mind you attacked that 30 cent daily wage. Nine! What? Where's the boost? Where's the boost? Who took my boost, bro? Fuck him up! Fuck him up! Bump him! Bro, I'm mad. Fuck you, bro. I take the boost. Yoo-hoo! Back post. What does that come, bro? What does it even mean, back post? My English is too bad to understand that. Good pass, mate. Yeah, I take that. I take that. Kinda risky. Yeah, I'm not. No, no. Now we get this shit. Yeah, no problem though. All for you, my brother. Well, it was worth it. I appreciate this beautiful compliment. Boom! Pass to Arnott! Arnott, Swiftish! Pass to... the enemy. Easy win, no? Are we losing this? I think we're losing this, actually. Yeah? Haha. GG's. Fucking go. Come on, buddy. Okay, this is a good sign that we keep getting rank of champions. We're about to a champion. Yo, Diamond 2 in the lobby. I'm assuming they're all champions, pretty much. We're just out of... Not on peak right now. Arnott, are you there? Ah. Rip. Did I count the win? Fuck, did I count the win? Danas, can you skip back? Like, do a clip real quick. I don't know if I count the win in the score. I was distracted by my love Antos or whatever his name was. Ooh, free goal. What? Okay. What happened? Ah, brother, it's too late now. I don't know. Like, above my face cam, there's a score thing. And I just won. Yeah, Thanks, bro. I actually did. Thanks, Danas. Brother. Diamond coming in clutch. Brother coming in clutch. As always. As always. Twitch chat coming in clutch. Twitch chat really helpful. We are really helpful live stream. Everybody is everybody is really helpful here. Really helpful. Really helpful, really cool. Amazing. Man, I need Antos back. Those are really good mates there. I really enjoy playing with them. Hit it? What? Danas, I think you just made the first clip after like 1 year. Nobody make clips on my channel. I really appreciate that, bro. Really, really nice. I can't thank you enough for the beautiful clip of me changing the scoreboard. Really, really efficient clip, right? It's very good, brother. Got 1,000 of views on YouTube. Somebody has to push this. What is happening? Nice one. Important. One more. Bring it up, bro. Bring it up. Jump, my brother. Jump. Jump, my brother. Oh no. Gotta jump, my brother. I swear. Yes. Dennis, where's your live streams, bro? Where's that full-time streamer thingy magic? Where's that shit? 8-hour Neuter live streams. 8 hour. I seriously wonder how people stream for 8 hours plus. There's one guy I watch, he streams 15 hours. He sleeps and streams the whole day League of Legends. I mean, yes, he makes money and shit. I guess that's the motivation right there. Ah, GG's. Was fun. Was fun, yeah. I'm gonna visit the bathroom. It's screaming for me. And then we keep the grind going. Oh, brother. That was a shit match. I really dislike this one. Did I count it? I don't care, I lost. No, I think I did. Alright. Guys, we are about to hit Grand Champion as always. Yes, I know. It's possible, right? No? Bro, I gotta bump that music up. This is exactly the type of pass I want. It's so simple to do. There's so high chance it goes in. Ah, I fucked up, bro. How long is one Noita run? Several hours, no? It's like... Oh, maybe! Oh, that was a beautiful shot. So what he did there is... And nice animation. Batman. So this is an OG player. He shot all the way to the left. Really heavy redirection there. Good shot. What a legend. Captain Jump. Cool name. Actual cool name. One more. Just hit it. Exactly. This is exactly what I need. This is exactly what I need. Just hit it. Don't do solo shit there. Dangerous. No rotation from my teammate. Ah, brother. That inside. Good pass. Good take. Nice! Whoa! Brother! Bro! Whoa! All right, I see where this is going. We're getting higher rank now. I love this team play. Like just what I said, pass play, team play. It's really kicking off in around champion. Oops. I'm gonna risk it. Meow. 9! Okay. Yeah. Have you thought about playing it? Yeah. Wait, you thinking of playing it? No, not really. Just random. Bro, I don't even have the game, bro. It's not noob friendly, right? It's like you spent like $100. Come on, brother. I'm going all the way back. I have crazy difficulty starting new games. It's an actual thing. Oh, that's in! That's in! Brother. Whoa! What a bump! What a bump! Nine. 9. Oh, disgusting. Get the ball away. Oh, nice. Boom! Alright, lucky. Can't react there. GG's. Oh, kind of sweaty. I like this. I like sweaty games. They're fun. Yeah, that's the thing, guys. I have difficulty starting new games. Bro, you don't know how many games I bought. I touched for 1 hour and never touched again. It's a real thing here. Bro, is this guy telling me he doesn't have a Twitch account? Wait, where's he coming? What is this? Make Twitch account. Und follow me. Ja, aber ich habe keinen schwarzen Anzug. Yeah. Bro, did I count the game? I don't know. I think I did. Chat, if you enjoy your stream, drop a follow. I'm a small streamer dreaming to become a full-time content creator one day. By doing whatever the shit I want to do. And I really appreciate a follow. If you like authenticity, transparency, chill streams, drop that follow. I got you. Brother. We're also doing a collab later. I don't know when yet, but later. Amazing stuff happening. What? Bro, I'm homeless. Can't go for that. Liars, brother! Thanks for the raid. How was your stream? Well, I thought collab, bro. Why you offline? I announced a fucking collab. Get it back online. you gotta tell me you don't wanna collab, brother. We made that. We had a plan for today. All my Twitch viewers are sad right now. And I'm actually also sad. Wait, you can't hear me? Nah, you can. You can. Brother, don't throw me now, liars. You can. I'm locked in. Don't get me out of this. Nah, you can, right? Test. Yeah, you can. What the fuck, bro? Oh my god, I swear. Can you actually not hear me? No, you can. I'm talking to Goofy Dunners. Yeah. Liars, I said, Bro, why you go offline? We had a plan to go, to do collab. I announced it in my live stream. Like, I'm genuinely confused. You didn't write me anything? Like... We had a plan. I come to your Twitch chat when I'm ready. Yeah, okay. Alright, sure. Oh my god, this pressure. Holy moly, what a game. Don't FF, you fucker! Don't FF! This is a crazy game, bro! There's a reason it takes 4 minutes to make a goal, because we are all equal in skill! Brother, don't FF, you noob! Oh, this makes you so angry. Lock the fuck in! Okay, let me carry your ass! Here. We have to pressure now. Pressure. Non-stop pressure. No more going back. Free forward. No more goalkeeper. Take it, please. Nice. Let it go back. It's fine. What? Oh! I told you, brother! Why you giving up, brother? Why you give up? Ah, nice shot, man! Nine! That was an actual double tap there! He missed it! He missed the ball. It was in. I'm not top it. No! 9! This is really bad actually. Nine. Okay, all good, all good. Fuck off. Save it, please. Nice, second. Back goalkeeper for safety. Bro, bombing me doesn't do shit. Oh my god, I could have made it. Nine. Go for it, go for it. Somebody go up. Holy shit, let me carry this. Take it. Ooh, dangerous, really dangerous. Really dangerous. I'm not in goal. Bump him, bro. Why is nobody going? Go! I don't have it. Bro, who am I talking to? There's no voice comms. Nah. I gotta go for that. I told you I gotta go for that. No, bro, what is this rotation? What is this rotation? Oh, brother, I can't believe my eyes. Oh, brother. Well, GG's, mate. GG's. Holy shit, man. That was savable. That was easy savable. Where's the speed, brother? Laurentius, you gotta speed up, brother. Or go to sleep. One of both. Crazy game, though. This is exactly why I don't give up. Last second goal. I love this. This is Rocket League. Did I come to loss? I did. Armin, falls du mich gerade hörst, mach dir einen Account hier und dann folg rein. Yeah, I don't fucking know, Danas. He didn't rotate fast enough. Sadly, there. Like. I'm gonna leave it. I'm gonna bring it all the way to the back. He left the match. It's a W. The FF? Wait. Yeah, they did. It's crazy. Come on, brother. I actually didn't notice that the name thing. Elias, how was your stream, bro? What did you do? Thanks for the raid, by the way. We all had a great stream at Elias Light. Pretty entertaining streamer. Also my roommate at the same time. Oh, sorry, mate. Alright, Dennis, I'm actually curious. How much Celsius is it in your country? How hot Celsius? Here it's like... in daytime... 30 plus actually. Lul. Oh, it's kind of low energy, but so far nice. Oh, you played jump safe. I thought you played the Batman actually. How is Batman done or how come? That's a no. Why is the enemy team not rotating there? G. When we collabing, Lars? I want to play the forest. I actually want to play it now. Can we play it now? Yeah, if you hit the ball, you're good, I guess. Whoa, okay. Yeah, we are slacking, brother. We are slacking. Oh. Wait, did he rage quit it? Really nice game. Yeah, bro, can Hayes just leave? It's over, brother. Lol. They're actually playing better without their third mate. Like, honestly. Okay. Wow. It's not done, just wanted to play a new update. That was a new update, alright. Would be very short if you do today. Yeah, when do you have time, bro? Like... Are you live tomorrow? Pew! Ooh, 3 wins is huge. We might be champion. Oh! Alright. Yeah, sure, why not? Let's do that. Sounds like a plan. Man, I want to play so bad. Oh, so addicted right now. We're at such a good place. Like, we got the maps, I think. I have to wait one more day, bro. Sure. Sure. Ice. I'll leave it at Rocket League then. So. Bam 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 bum bum. Bam 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 bam. Whoa whoa! Hit it! Hit it! Nice. Give me the boost, bro. You already have a boost. Sag. I feel like he tried to get the boost there. I don't get it. Alright, I take it. Nah, bro, she kinda attractive there, I gotta be honest. That kinda hit my eyes. Caught my eyes. The album picture caught my eyes. I had to check that out. Yeah, right. I agree, actually. Come on, brother. Alright. So, this is the thing with Rocket League. When you win 3 times in a row or something like that, many times, what happens is you get esports enemies. So, there's two variants to this. Either you get esports enemies or you get wooden rank teammates. Like literally Stone Age rank. This is so bad. I think both is happening here. This is a sketchy game. Okay, time to look in. I don't have it. Where's my teammate? Where's my teammate? There should be somebody in the goal! There should be somebody in the goal! Yeah, I got wooden league rank teammates. He left. It says everything. GG's, mate. We're still champ. I don't know if this counted as a loss. I should have stayed in. I wanna know. I'm still gonna count it. Because he just rage quit. I don't know if that counts as a loss. Whatever. Okay. The enemies weren't that good. Just wood silver teammates. Ja, but okay, nice. Double tap. La 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 la. Da, da, da. Yeah. They're gonna respawn after like 3 seconds. Have you tried this game, Danas? I think you did know? Yeah? Or do you had it on Steam? Well, it's an amazing game, I'll tell you. It's really amazing game! Get back, brother! Move your ass. Wait, really? Wait, you deleted the... Refunded it! Bro, I'm the one... I'm an actual OG, bro. 2016, one year after release. Not even 1 year, a few months. I don't know how I got it, but I got it when I was a kid. I actually don't know how I got this game, like, what made me buy it. Refunded out of performance issues. Man. It must be really depressing. Whoa, he saved it. Follow up, follow up. Touch it one more time. Yes. This is where I'm lacking a bit of speed. I think this is where I actually can get better. When I get so really fast passes where I have like literally 1 second to react. Yeah, that's definitely something I can get better at. Like that ball I just missed there. That was a goal. Really tough though. Like reaction time pain. Ah, GG's. Bin again, Germans. Grüße gehen raus. Wow, Double Cheeseburger. Nah. Double bump. Could have led to something there. I'm scared. Nein. Yeah. If you know, you know. No. Important he went for that. White, important touch. This as well. Baited that. Very good, very nice. Get some pressure on them. Is he... Oh no! My bad, bro. Lucky Chloe. Team Japan. What? Team Germany. Yeah, I actually think Germany has a really high, good chance to winning World Cup. They've won both their games and I'm really excited to see the next one. Japan also won the game, no? I think so. And Ronaldo as well today. I have to, the enemy suck. They actually suck. Believe you not, the enemy, they actually suck. They actually suck. We just gotta play good. We have a really good chance here. They're really bad. They have really bad rotation. Wow, what a pass. No? Oh, what a pass, yes. Oh, what a pass, bro. Just slightly more to the mate side. As you can see here. Ah, he's getting faster to the ball. Which leads to the goal. Thanks. Brother, I take my own pass every day. Boom. Look how clean that looks in that fucking replay. Hit it one more time. Nice. Woo! What a hit, bro. Good pass. I told you, the enemies, ah, beautiful. Guys, even if you had the game, I'm actually not that sure if you would, enjoy it, to be honest. It's like really, really repetitive. No lore. I know you're into lore shit. Yeah, there's actually no lore in this game, bro. Yeah, like. They are so bad, like I told you. Hit it one more time. Nine. Wow, lucky here. Tried something. Meow. Woo! I do like stories. This is skip, bro. Look at that double. I blocked the safe. Ah, GG's, mate. No, that's not my score. That's my score. What is the number one game you play currently, Danas? And everybody else who's listening. Number one game. For me, probably Rocket League and Sons of Rise, as you all know. And Clash of Clans. I wanna stream Clash of Clans. I have something planned there. I wanna make a secondary account and create a second clan on stream. Make a whole let's play out of it. Second clan is gonna be no strict clan war rules, no strict rules, just for fun. I'm not even gonna track any data there, like clan activity. Oh yeah, I'm down for that. This is gonna be amazing. I think I'm gonna combine it with BT6 because BT6 is a really young community. And then I'm also gonna play Clash of Clans there. Well, that's gonna be good. Get people into my clan, fill it up in like one day. Yes, sir. Nice, huge blast. Whoa! Bro, touch it, please! Good. Really good that he touched that. Exactly. This is happening on it. Because the wrong person touches the ball here, we get the goal. aka double commit. Really dangerous thing. Double committing is... Double committing and not rotating and yeah, I can't think right now. Yeah, double committing, not rotating, and being unfocused. Those three things, bro. If any of them applies, the game is pretty much lost. It's really hardcore, actually. Unforgiving game. Rotation. Not being locked in. And the third thing I already forgot. Oh, sorry, mate. I took the boost here. Is anyone here? Is anyone here? Nine! Alright, all good, all good. We're in the clear. We're in the clear. Boom! Bro, I'm joining you soon, Tarkov. Wait for me, okay? I'm joining you soon. I will actually join you soon. I will do solos as well, but we can do collabs. Oh, what a pass! Nah. Yeah, we got them. They're so under pressure. Oh no. Good pass. What is he doing? What is he doing? Good. Brother! It's unlucky. Straight unlucky. Nothing you can do there. All good. This is literally unlucky. Nothing else. I need tap here. Because the thing that's happened is he was in fight or flight mode, basically, quite literally. Oh no. Because he doesn't know if the enemy is there or not, so he kinda has to do it. He can't control himself. Very difficult to explain right now. Oh no. I don't want to take a break from it. What prestige are you? Unsatisfying. That was an accidental double flick there. Alright. There we go, back to diamond. Now we need like 4 wins or so to go back. Prestige 4. Oh man, it's crazy. So you want to take a break after Prestige 4, huh? Not going for 5? Important touch. Ah, you're going for 5. Ah, I see. Wow, what a save! Wow. I have no boost. I'm cooked. We are cooked, team. We are cooked. Nine, bro! Why the double commit? Holy shit. Ah, I really tried something there. This guy's carrying our ass. Moe. He's carrying our ass. Whoa. Whoa! Wait, that's a goalkeeper? Bro, I didn't see him. I can't do shit. I don't... yeah. I don't have it. Yeah, brother. What we are seeing here is a few double commits. It's really deadly. We're missing so much defense when they try to commit on my ball. I have boost or everything. It's really dangerous. Yeah, we're seeing lots of double commits from my team here, sadly. That kind of roasts the game. Whoa! Nice. Now you go for it, bro. Now you go for it. I don't have it. I'm going back. Boom! This is what I say! Block the fucking teammates. Of the double commits. Look at that block. They didn't expect anything of that. They're all in an hour and a half. We have to push now. Come on, teammate. Push, 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 push. Aggressive. All in. All in. Gamble. We have to take the gamble now. Yes, exactly. This is what I'm saying. Take the gamble. Come on. Crazy shit. This is Rocket League, baby. This is Rocket League. Nah. Actually. Oh. I don't have it. Woohoo! I have it! Craziest double tap of my life! Oh, a pro player would have made it. This is something into none. Double taps. Fast double taps. So many given goals. Well, no shit, I'm not fucking grand champ, but this is something, this is gonna happen soon. It's gonna happen. It's gonna change the whole game. 9! Yeah! Baby! Blue Lion, brother. Look at that. From a 0-2 to a 3-2 in around 30 seconds. Crazy. Mon coming in clutch as well. really carrying the game. At least in the beginning. I gotta be honest here. Dude, I need some project with like many people again. They are free. I kinda want something to like fall back to, like chill out. No pressure. We don't really have any game like that, chat. Really depressing. Well, the Sunset Flowers, but Liars is not here right now. It's kind of a game you would play in chill mode, but yeah, sad. We got a network of other streamers as well, get invited to other projects. It's something I really want to do. I have done that in Galera times. Network with other people. Super fun. Like, I need something to like fall back to. No pressure, just play. Like, this is not really... This is really stressful. I need something where I can like go unfocused, chat with the live stream chat a little bit. Shit like that. Some of the projects, as I said, but I'm kinda relying on somebody else there. I'm just gonna play solo, you know. One more. Okay, one more. What? Imagine I actually saved that! That would be so random! Holy shit, bro. Imagine I saved that! That'd be so random. Oh, it was so close, holy shit. I didn't really predict that. Really random. Good pass. Gral times where I peak, definitely. It's also... Gral is a content game. It's chill game. It's social game. It's everything. It's perfect game. Gral is really perfect game. Non-toxic community. Good fan base. I actually like the fan base of it. It's a really good game. The social aspect is also really nice of it. The social aspect right now would probably be a network with other streamers. Which I'm kinda not doing now. I don't know how to though. I think what you need to network is there's different ways. Probably join some Discord server or like raid people. Of course, not with one viewer, but I think there's another way, like a really legitimate way to network with others. Like keep raiding them, not just one raid. Like keep raiding. Show that you're there. Oh my god. Like, I'm so down. Brother, at Rippy, that's one of my biggest dreams, and I'm working towards that. Network with people and just make them your friends, and you all have the same goal. Build communities, connect to each other. This is something, in Galera times, is the best thing. It's literally the best thing. It's literally the best thing. Oh my god. Like, connect with other communities. Be in the same boat. Really fun. Really fun. Look at that redirect. Let's fucking go, man. I mean, it's not really toxic, bro. What I have experienced from my side, not really toxic. Well, there are some trolls hating on your content, but that's it. Overall, people are really, really nice, actually. Really supportive. I mean, of course, I'm speaking from a fucking guide tuber. I'm speaking from fucking PewDiePie lens here. I was #1 guide tuber. I mean, don't take my word. Maybe it's serious for the usual, but toxic for the usual, but people are really cool. But yeah, obviously you can't take my word, brother. I never entered the competitive side, that's the thing. Oh, did I? No, not really. I honestly don't know what even competitive would be. Like Plasma Corp become #1 on leaderboard. Is that competitive? I mean, yeah, I guess. Oh no, is that in? Oh my fucking godness, brother. He got us good. This was so good. Ruben, brother, my old classmate. Why are you doing this? Look in. Let's go. One sorry is enough. I forgive you, bro. I forgive literally everybody. Even if it's really suck mistake, I don't give a fuck. Mistakes happen, I'm not toxic. What? This is really bad now. I'm not forgiving you. I'm not forgiving you. I'm not forgiving you. I'm not forgiving you. Oh, GG's. That was a really bad tip-off. Jeez. So unsatisfying. 10-10. So what's competitive? You have a nice closed ecosystem that felt good. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I did content. Hundreds of people following me in the map. Really crazy. It's a really cool feeling, to be honest. It's a really cool feeling. I mean, yeah. Spa basing street PvP. What the fuck, street PvP, brother? I mean, I haven't really explored much there. Basing kinda toxic, yeah. Wait, Spa. Okay, Spa is definitely toxic. Okay, yes, I agree with Spa. Spa, definitely, brother. Spa, sure. Yeah. Basing? It's like 50-50. No? Like, I'm imagining... I mean, I wear a rank in many gangs. Navy, Obsidian, like, top gangs. I don't even know their names. Definitely Navy. Pirate Zone gang. Being a rank in a basing gang is really fun, actually. Only one is even better. But not if you only get free basing hours, because the whole basing system kinda sucks. Because people team up and shit like that. The basing system was different? Where people don't have like shifts and everything like that. Like actually 1v1v1v1v1v1v1. Each gang fights each other. Then I see it being fun actually, yeah. Like sure, allies is fun, good and fun, but not when there's like 5 major gangs with like 20 gangs, all allied and working together in one base. That kind of takes the fun of it, and that's why I'm not doing it. But if it was actually a good system there, like gangs actually fighting each other, not teaming up, then yeah, it would be extremely good. It'd be so good, actually. Brother is worried about posting raid pass in global quick chat. Brother, I do that every single time. Let the enemy know. What the fuck? A really rare thing just happening. You get nasty? Hit it. What? Gotta bump this guy. Yeah, the shift systems. Bro, in my opinion, it's really ruining the whole fun of it. Like, you literally cannot imagine you're a new player. You wanna try something. You wanna make your own gang. It's literally impossible, and that's what I really dislike. Like from the bottom of my heart, I really dislike that system. This should work against just gangs working together. It's the most boring thing I've ever seen in a video game, actually. Like, trust you not. It really bothers me. It's like number one thing of God error that bothers me. You're literally limiting a new player to do something that's part of the game. And it really is disgusting. But like, if Obsidian had the I'm not talking about the 5 allies they have. I'm talking about the friendly other gangs. Like, imagine GPN, whatever they're called, working with Navy together on shift. It's really disgusting. Like, I tried something on stream. I have so many viewers, full gang. After only 5 minutes, we hold a base for like 10 minutes. After 10 minutes, GPN called all their people, bro, and it's really, really difficult. Basing is maybe the most difficult thing in the game, yeah. Like, trying to have success at it's definitely the most difficult, yeah. Because it's literally unfair. You can get better at spar, you can do that, you can do this, but basing is... It's so cooked. Wait, really? And the re-money, it makes it even worse. I didn't thought about that, but yeah, probably, yeah. I mean, definitely no. How is he not saving that? How is he not saving that? I get. What? touched it! Nah, I'm being inted. That was such an important ball there. Why you leave the ball all the way to our side again? That was an actual bad teammate. GG's though. GG's, mistakes happen, but brother, you gotta lock in, brother. That was actually bad. We are close to being champion here. Probably. Yeah. I don't have any facts on paper here, so yeah. It's all about money shit. Really? Tell me more about it. I've never went into that. People just buying through? That's right, yeah. Like, do you really think they buy their shifts? I mean, probably, right? Yeah, right? There's no way they're just gonna accept some random people. Oh yeah, you get my shop, you get my shift. You're actually right about it. Plasma, yeah. Oh my god, I got so into it. Oh, it hurts. Alter. I think yeah, people doing that is like also many poor countries, right? The Gral era re-money business. It's actually, I think it's actually good for them. I think they make more money with Gral era than they would do in real life. Like honestly, it's actually really attractive there. Attractive wage and everything, right? Because other Americans, they buy them for throw to like dig for them and everything, and gonna be a good amount of money actually. Shit is valuable. Here, take the ball. I imagine. Here. Yeah, like actually. More money than in real life. It's crazy. I don't think Graal can do anything against it either. So it's a... It's on really yeah. I believe some people did get banned for something. I don't know exactly what. Removing trading. Yeah. That would fix it. Or like at least the getting materials aspect. Getting kills and everything, yeah. That's over basically, but getting throw and throw it destroys the whole game pretty much. Throw like it's a really big thing. Like nobody cares if you get kills for somebody, but throw is like it's really destroying the whole ecosystem and everything. Like literally everything. Everything. Because as you mentioned, the gangs buy shifts with throw, re-money, everything. It's really fucked up. Let's FF here. I'm done. Oh, I got inted 2 games in a row. Jeez. Oh, I can't believe it. Jans has to come up with an alternative. Make trading available for... It already costs a fee, but nobody cares about the fee, right? Yeah, no, that, you can't fix it by putting a fee in there. Like, nah. You can only just disable trading or change your whole system on how to get materials and everything, but that doesn't even work. There is no solution to this. I can't think about anything. I'm pretty sure Jans would have done something. It's fucked up, bro. Or we should tap into some Graal Era Kappa. Nah, it's fucked up for sure, yeah. Trading is such a big thing. I don't want it to get disabled. And I'm pretty sure they won't disable it ever. It's just mandatory. I mean, it's not that needed if you think. Well, no, it's actually needed, or else you're not gonna get any items. If you want to get some crazy items, you can buy it from people. It's actually a really cool thing, but yeah, the real money, the real life business kind of ruins, fucks up the whole game. Nah, they didn't. That's too much, bro. Nobody says the car for Graal Era. People are not that invested into Graal Era. It's just every now and then game, like, you know, BT6. People don't take it that serious. People try to admins in real life. Nah, it's crazy, bro. Jans has a really lot of shit to do. I mean, I'm not up to date with anything. I know the servers went offline in the last few days. Like, there was some major issues. I was actually online then. You're out of Graal Era, right, Danas? Oh yeah, my bad. Nah, bro, this is the life. It's a fucking life there. A daily business. Gral just cooked, yeah. Only I can fix the game, brother. Maxi Gral has to come back. Ali A of Gral era. With all the news, with all the tournaments, with all the random shit. I gotta mix shit up. I gotta make tournaments so other poor people can win stuff in my tournaments instead of doing other shit. The honest guy has to come back here. I'm the only solution. I make huge price pools for all the illegal trading subs. I honestly wonder what would happen if some really big company would buy the game. I think it has so much potential. It's basically GTA 5 but in pixel. Not even GTA 5, the basing aspect is different, but this game has really much potential on us. I wonder he's not selling it. There's probably interested people. There's no way no company ever asked to buy the game. There's no game like it. There's no game like it. It's straight up unique plus GTA 5. Yeah, unique shit. Battlefield with all the capturing the command posts. Many games have the same mod actually. Battlefield, capturing commands. Star Wars Battlefront, capturing commands. Basing, capturing commands. It's all the same shit, but there's no game like Galera. I'm actually not sure if you're making fun with this now with the Nikita thing. Fucking Nikita, bro. That's crazy. Who's the owner? Unix Matt, right? Where's SNK, brother? Times were better with SNK. I wonder what did SNK. Maybe SNK sold the game to him. That could have happened actually, yeah. And he kind of ruined it, or like, I mean, player base is going down. People are going up, but SNK was really good. No shit about him, but at the same time he was good with all the free event coins. He was literally in game and like texting shit. Unix Mac never done that. It's crazy. Ah, okay. Wait, Unix Mac is always I see, okay. Well, John's read the whole game, brother, kappa. It's fucked up actually. I can't decide between SNK and John's. If they are both involved in the game, I think that would be clutch. Yeah, like probably shitting somewhere in fucking Miami on the beach. Getting all the Gralat's packed money. Must be amazing. Must be literally amazing. What? I genuinely wonder how much money they earn with this game. What do you mean he escaped, Gral? Then he has the Unix Mac has to work up and get other people in. What is Unix Mac doing? Is he working on Gral Zone 2.0 or what? I would support that. Gral Zone, brother. Make Danas admin. Alright, chat. Was a fun stream. I think I'm gonna cut actually. Don't know what I have to do here. I'm bored. There's no game to go back on, sadly. I have no project running. I gotta host a project. Either Minecraft server or Terraria. And then I can grind that shit. Probably actually Minecraft server. I wanna do another Minecraft. The last time I have done Minecraft was in the German channel. Let me find it. I'm not joking. The last thing we had from Unix was him complaining about a club in Thailand. The fuck are you talking about? Who has all those insider? What? Thailand. Oh, right. They probably live there. Thailand, brother. Actually, coolest country and also super cheap country. It's like both. It's perfect. And also low tax, I think. Fucking paradise. I would go there. I would literally go there, I think. Get all the massages from the streets. Oh man, I love countries like that. I watched so much content about that actually. I watched a live streamer IRL streaming in Thailand. It's so crazy, brother. This is real life. They living life, brother. He went for... Yeah, exactly. Thailand is fucking life, brother. I gotta do IRL stream there. Didn't know he's French. Ah shit, I'm actually wondering if I should do Minecraft SMP or single player. I think both will be fun for me. I might just do single player, chill out until I beat the Elder Dragon? What am I talking about? Ender Dragon? I don't even know. Elder. I don't even know. The Dragon. Yeah, I'm actually down for that. So. I think he got kicked out, bro. Is Unix Mac doofy ass? He's probably listening, bro. He's probably listening. Hey, shout out to you, Unix Mac. Keep it up, bro. Make Era great again. We have to protest in-game. With flags and everything. Make Era great again. I think there was an actual thing. I remember. People standing at start and saying shit like that. I think that was around Trump times. Where it was really into like say, make blah 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 great again. I think people actually said it. Alright guys. I'm gonna go. Thanks for the chat, Dennis. Thanks for watching, everybody. I bet I have tomorrow again. Tomorrow we're gonna play more the Forest. So hyped for that shit, brother. It's like my go-to game to like spend hours in. Because Rocket League of Legends is already stressful. I honestly don't know how people stream that for many hours. I honestly don't know. Really much respect to that. What is that rules thing? This is the first time happening. Wait, let me update that. What is that? That's not even updated. Why is it posting that? Timers. Rules. Every 30 minutes. What? Why is it not posting anything? We've been chatting for so long. Bro, see my elements is really weird. Alright. I need to ask Billy if he saved the Twitter post. It was a huge meme when there's a fucking nothing off. So I completely not getting out. This is actually funny as fuck, brother. Who found that? Who found that? The post. Like, it has to be some admin, no? Somebody who has deep, close contact to Unix Med. Oh, well, no. Well, actually, no. If Unixmed, if his name was Unixmed on Twitter, then it could be anybody. Finding that shit. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's so random though. Yeah. Does he post there? Do we know anything about this guy other than having fun in Thailand? Crazy. I wish, dude, if Galera was like really transparent, really lots of contact with the community, listen to the community. I mean, they're trying to do something actually right now. At start, there's a box where you can decide what they should implement next. It's not exactly what you want, but it's an effort. But yeah. I wish, I really hope Galera comes back one day. Has really, I'm not saying Unix Rec, by the way, what? I mean, they're trying something to like implement the community more.
I feel like there's about a 80% chance this won't work, but because I reckon it had to be done in one live.
What? Crazy. I mean, that's a first step. I don't know what it exactly does. But it's definitely a first step. A bit late, sadly. Transit to reserve. What? That's cool as fuck, bro. I have never transitioned. I have to try this for the first time.
Crashed when
I wanna transition to all maps in one game. Oh, bro.
And I died trying to load back in.
And then die at the last exit in factory. Oh yes. I'm probably gonna start at factory though. I wanna start with the most painful map first. Get it done. And then transit to like woods or some shit like that. Like do the really annoying shit first. Really? Brother. That's a good of mine. That's actually something fun to do, yeah. You can start wherever you want, right?
Crash because of Alt Tab. I'm in window mode.
CEO of Eurogames and Games Studio Manager Toonslab. Toonslab. Do they post anything now? Just back on Twitter after 3 years. I manage Gal Online, but I am not addicted to social networks. I see. Stick it to read all your feedbacks and messages. 680 left to read. Bro, you kind of like 680 is really much, bro. This player base is not that big. You're slacking big times. That's a big slack actually. Like 680 is the whole player base. There's no way the whole player base does it in one day. He's definitely slacking. Back on Twitter. I mean, you gotta be honest here, he doesn't really look like a social media guy. Designing and building AI products, what is this? What is this? In collaboration with Emeritus? He was not back. And then he says back on Twitter after 3 years. He manages that game. So what I think is he just puts his... he does nothing, basically. And he lets Jans and all the other people do everything. That's what I think. I mean, designing and building AI products was a shit, bro. What is this? One day before Christmas. Brother did some AI shit before Christmas. On Christmas. Instead of working on Grolera, making something special there. Instead of getting fucking gifts money. Really crazy. Skill knowledge, ethical decision making, creative problem solving. Brother, Stefano Unix mate, brother, come on. Come on, bro. You gotta do some problem solving in this fucking game, bro. It can't go on like this. Basing, corruption, this, that, toxic admins, shit admin team, shit junts. At least right now. Exchange all those people and get some cool people in the board, bro. He looks like a genuine cool person, though. Like, on this picture, at least. Can I show this? No. Like, genuinely positive, cool person, but sadly, he's not doing shit for the game, bro. I think if he wants to, he could. I feel like it. Yeah. Well. Alright, guys. I'm gonna go now for real. Wait, he has so many games? What are those games? There's so many random games. Ace Tennis 2010. What? Replies. Did you reply somewhere? Oh, actually. He has Discord. Yo, Danas. Add him on Discord. What? I'm also trying to get my 20 years old account back. The password doesn't work anymore, so maybe there were a database update. But I don't have access to the old email, so I don't. Please contact me on Discord, UnixMed, with your account name. I mean, that's effort right there. That's crazy. Some French that I don't understand. What the hell is this? Skype, UnixMed. Crazy, 2016. He reposted one post from Grolera, and it's such a random post. It's the GST. Well, at least we got some people still working on a monthly VIP, right? I don't know who. I actually don't know anyone of the admin team anymore. I have no idea who's doing shit now. But apparently there's still some. Easter graphics competition. They're still trying to do some community stuff here and there. The newest update is major, actually. Letting the community decide on future updates. That's major, sadly too late. Can do something, but yeah, a bit too late here. Yeah, whatever. Graal is dead. Yo, thanks for chatting us. Let's grind some EFT soon, bro. I'm gonna stream it and then you can just join up. Alright. Have a nice day, everybody. See you tomorrow. Bye bye. No, actually, like. TV, bro. Soon, bro. Yeah, soon. Alright, goodbye. Shoutouts to my boy UnixMat. And, yeah. SNK.